This lesson is about converting linear equations from standard form to slope-y-intercept form. The way we're going to be doing that is using some of the skills that we use when we're solving equations, and it has to do with getting a term by itself by doing opposite operations. And sometimes it may involve also dividing or multiplying by a number in order to get the variable term to be just 1 as a coefficient. To get you thinking about slope-intercept form, we're going to review the skill of finding the equation of a line given a graph. So what I would like you to do here is see if you can recall how to find this equation. Remember that you need the rise and the run, and you need the y-intercept so that you can fill in the slope in y equals mx plus b and the y-intercept, which is the b. Keep in mind that when you do your slope, you're going from the leftmost point to the rightmost point. So in this case, we would be going down. Remember, that's a negative rise and then a positive run to the right. In this line, we're going positive for the run, and then we're going up. So that's also positive for the rise. So go ahead and try this on your own and then come back and check and see how you did. I'm going to draw my rise and my run in here. So my rise, as I said, is going down. And then my run is to the right, that's positive. And I want to add my values in. So my rise, I'm going from 3 down to -6. So that's 3 and 6. I'm going down 9. So my rise is -9. My run is going from -2 to 1. So that's 2 and 1, that is +3. My y-intercept is -3 right there. I'm going to put a point on there to show that. I'm going to use so I'm going to mark my y-intercept. Now I'm ready to do my slope. So I'm going to use equatio. I need to take my rise over my run. So m is equal to -9 all over 3. And remember to reduce that. 9 divided by 3 is 3, so my slope is -3. My y-intercept is also -3. That makes my equation y equals -3x -3. So there is the equation for the first line. Coming over to the second line, once again, I'm going to draw my rise and my run. So my run, and my rise. Labeling my run and my rise. My run is from 0 here to 5, so that makes that 5. That's my run. And my rise goes from 1 up to 3. And remember, I'm going from left to right, from one point to the next. So my run is 5, my rise is 2. And once again, I'm ready to do my slope. Oh, first I just want to identify my y-intercept. My y-intercept here is 1. So there's my y-intercept. And now I want to make my equation. So y now I want to do my slope. Now I want to do my slope. So my rise is 2, and both of these values are positive. My rise is 2, and my run is 5. And my y-intercept, I said, is 1. So that makes this equation y equals 2/5 x plus 1. So there I have the equations for both of those lines. Now there's a form called standard form, where all of the terms are on one side of the equal sign, and then there's a 0 on the other. And what we're going to learn to do is use our solving equation skills to get those equations to be in this form, y equals mx plus b. So you'll see here, it says use your skills solving equations to get the y by itself on the left-hand side. So the idea is that you're still getting a variable by itself, but in this case, it's always going to be the y variable. So in Equatio, we're going to do the same as we've done in the past. We're going to make 3 columns. So I'm going to start with the 4x. minus 3y. That would be the left-hand side. And I will add 2 columns in. And that's equal to 9. Now, what we want to do is get this into y equals mx plus b form. In order to do that, we want to get the y term by itself. That's the goal. So we are going to get rid of the x term. So that's minus 4x. And do the same on the other side. Minus 4x. We end up with minus 3y equals minus 4x plus 9. Now here's where it's different than what we're used to. Because we're not actually solving an equation, we're just rearranging it, we still have variable terms and a constant or a numeric term together on this one side. Now notice I wrote it in the form that we're familiar. Usually we think of y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So I've written it in that order. Now, similar to when we're solving equations, we want to get the minus 3y to be 1y. So we need to divide by minus 3, which is the opposite operation. And we need to do the same to the other side. That leaves us with 1y equals, now on this side, we're going to have fractions. So minus 4 divided by minus 3, we're going to write that as a fraction, same sign positive. Now you could put minus 4 over minus 3 on your calculator and press the equals button. It will give you positive 4 over 3 if you're not sure. So I will put a fraction 4 over 3x. And then the 9 is also divided by the minus 3. Positive 9 divided by minus 3, different sign negative, 3. So there's our y equals mx plus b equation. We've now converted this into standard form. Now, as we go along here, you will see that this is all very similar. At any point when you're comfortable, it would be fine to stop watching the video, go ahead and do these questions on your own, and then check back. And then there's a consolidation section where you can continue practicing this skill. So we will work through these 6 together in this video. Coming to this next question. X plus 3y is equal to minus 6. We want to get the y by itself, so we need to get rid of that other term, which is the x term. Subtract x from both sides. That leaves us with 3y equals, again, we're going to write the x term first, minus x plus 6. We have 3y, that's a multiplication. The opposite is to divide by 3. And do the same on the other side. That leaves us with 1y, 3 divided by 3 is 1, equals, now we have minus 1 divided by 3. The overall sign is minus, different sign negative, we have a 1 over a 3. And that's the slope in front of the x, and a plus 6. And now that's done. coming to the next question. 2x minus y is equal to 8. We want the y by itself, so we need to get rid of the 2x. So subtract 2x from both sides. So we get minus y equals minus 2x plus 8. We have a minus 1 in front of the y, so we need to divide on both sides by minus 1. Minus 1 divided by minus 1 is just 1y equals, now we have to divide both terms by minus 1. So minus 2 divided by minus 1, same sign, positive 2x, positive 8 divided by negative 1, different sign, negative 8. And that's our equation. Looking at the next question, y equals 3x minus 1. That's already in standard form, so I don't need to do any more to it. I'm just going to put this in here to show that I recognize that that's in standard form. Now, here are 3 more examples. Now notice in this case, all of the terms are on the left-hand side. There are actually 2 different forms that people will consider standard form. This is one of them up here, and this is the other form that is referred to as standard form. So let's do these examples where we have 3 terms. Same process, there may be some extra steps involved. So now on this side we have 3x plus y minus 3 is equal to 0. So we need to get rid of the 3x and the minus 3. I'm going to do them separately, but we can do them both at the same time. First, I'll do it separately just to make sure it's clear. So we can get rid of either the 3x or the minus 3. Let's start with the 3x. Minus 3x on both sides. That leaves us with y plus minus 3 equals minus 3x. Now we will get rid of that minus 3. The opposite of subtracting 3 would be to add 3 to both sides. And likewise over here, we're going to add 3. We're left with y equals minus 3x plus 3. And we don't need to do any multiplying or dividing because y is already a 1y. That's our equation. The next question is 4x minus y plus 6 is equal to 0. Equals 0. Now what I will show you is that you can get rid of the two terms at the same time. We want to get rid of the 4x, so that would be minus 4x. And we would like to get rid of the plus 6, so that would be minus 6. Then we can do the same to the other side, minus 4x minus 6. What that leaves us with is minus y is equal to, we started with 0, so it's just minus 4x minus 6. Last step, we do have a coefficient other than positive 1 in front of that y. It's negative 1. So we need to divide both sides by negative 1. That leaves us with 1y on the left-hand side equals to, now we need to divide each of these terms by a negative. Negative 4 divided by negative 1, same sign, positive 4x. And negative 6 divided by negative 1, same sign, positive 6. And that's our equation in slope y-intercept form. Now to the third question. We're starting with minus 4x plus 2y minus 8 . And that's equal to 0. Once again, we'll get rid of the other two terms. We're going to add 4x, and we're going to add 8. And then we'll do the same to the other side. Add 4x, add 8. That leaves us with a 2y on this side because those other terms cancel. Minus 4x plus 4x, minus 8 plus 8. That was our plan. Equals, and again, with these kind, the other side is easy because it's 0. So we simply have 4x. We don't need to write the plus, and then plus 8. The last step, we have a 2y. So we want to divide both sides by 2. And divide on the other side. That leaves us with y, or 1y, equals 4 divided by 2 is 2x, and 8 divided by 2 is plus 4. And now the final question here in our examples. 8x minus 3y plus 2. And that's equal to 0 once again. We have minus 3y that we want to get by itself. Subtract 8x. subtract 2, and we do the same to this side. That leaves us with minus 3y is equal to minus 8x minus 2. We have a minus 3y out in front. We want to divide by minus 3y. Pardon me. We have a minus 3 out in front, or being multiplied. So we want to divide by minus 3 on both sides. That leaves us with 1y, or y equals minus 3 minus 8 divided by minus 3. That will be positive 8 over 3 x minus 2 divided by minus 3, same sign, positive 2 over 3. And that's our equation in this final example. And there are the examples of going from standard form, and there's two different standard forms that are possible, and then going to y equals mx plus b, or slope y-intercept form. Now if you would go ahead and practice this skill with these standard form equations.